two contenders, so you can also donate to whichever one you like more. But I've talked about that a lot. I'm gonna pass it off to Rezephos
Alright.
for
Thank
a very exciting Super Mario World All Castles Small Only run. Go ahead.
So I'm just gonna get it started like right now. So 3, 2, 1, go. There's not much to talk about in the first world, so I always just get started first. So I'm Rezephos, or Rezi, and I have Seathorn with me.
Hello, I'm Seathorn. So yeah, this category is All Castles Small Only. It's often affectionately referred to as Small Castles, just because that rolls off the tongue nicely. And the basis of this category is it's pretty much you have to beat all of the castles, and you cannot collect any power-ups, and you can't use any of the midways.
Yeah, if you
So-
grab these checkpoints right there, you turn big. So you obviously don't want that. You can't use Yoshi. You can use Star, and you can use a P-Balloon.
Those aren't technically power-ups in Super Mario World. But in World 1, it's the same as in every other category. You're just going to be going through small, as you do in most categories. Rezi probably has a higher chance of getting the shell jump in YI4 than most runners, just because he's run so many small-only categories where you do shell jumps.
I don't know why, it's just a thing with me now. I can explain, well, shell jumps are like super complicated. It's not like other games like Mario Maker, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, where you just like do the twirl and then throw the shell. This is like a 4-step program to skipping areas. Step
to do a
1,
shell jump,
Step
you have
1, have a
to-
shell. Step 2, jump. Step 3, press the left button for like less than 3 frames or something like that. Around there. There's multiple ways to do it, but this is the way I do it. This is the fastest in this case. And then you also want to press right, and like 1 frame after you press right, throw the shell, and then it looks like that. So you can't really
Yeah.
call it a blank frame trick. You could probably define it within a window of frames, but it's just whatever.
but it does take a lot of practice to get really good at shell jumps. That one only saves a fraction of a second, so it's not very important, but the next shell jump that we're going to be seeing in Donut Plains 1, or at least seeing an attempt at, saves about 30 to 40 seconds depending on your strats in the next level. So that one's a lot more important. It's not as crucial to this category, just because this category is a lot longer, but if you run any of this shorter, small-only categories, such as just the fastest small-only category, then you'll need to get that shell jump to get a really good time, just because it's only sub 15 minutes for a really good time, so...
Yep. And I'll be doing a couple shell jumps in this category. I do like several ones that are completely unnecessary just because I can't be bothered to learn a visual cue for the normal shell jump, where you just bounce it off the wall or something. And I was thinking about something just a second ago. Yeah, so it doesn't look like I'm really turning left and right that fast, but it really is like a super fast input. Pretty much everyone's problem when learning is they're going like almost like half the speed they need to be going on that input. So yeah, it's tricky to learn. So that was World 1. Not very eventful. Just a fun fact about how I play the Castle 1 though is I normally just use 1 thumb for all the face buttons, but when I play Castle 1, I actually use my index finger on a run button and the thumb for jump buttons. Just makes it easier to maneuver on those cages for me.
So right here you see him grabbing this green shell, which is what he needs to do the shell jump. So
Yeah.
we'll see the shell jump attempt at the end of the level, and depending on whether he gets it or not, that kind of diverges the route at this point.
Yes.
So he did get it, which is good. So
that
means he's going to
saves-
be going to Donut Secret 1.
It saves 35 seconds over going to Donut Plains 2, which is an auto-scroller. Though it is actually a decently fun auto-scroller. There's a lot of buzzy beetles that you can just shove into walls and ceilings. It's pretty fun.
I mean, DS1 is not very fun either, because you're just swimming, but at least it's faster.
Yeah. It's kind of hard. The ending of this level is pretty hard. I like a formula for a lot of this, though. Here I jump there and then swim into the ceiling. Kind of jumped into it too low. So I waited a little bit. Oh, I've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah. You also need to duck down really early if you don't want to hit that block into the Cheep Cheep. It's kind of deceptive where the Cheep Cheep's hitbox is, because it doesn't look like you're going to hit it, but then you might.
I use a physical visual cue, the physical Sony logo on my TV. I use the Y as a visual cue for when to dip down off the screen there. So this level is actually pretty funny. You can save like an in-game second or less in the second room if you do what is basically a 50% chance jump to be facing the right direction, and then enter the door off screen.
Yeah. The regular strat, which he just did, is actually you need to run up really close to the ghost, or to the boo, because you only get P-speed almost right under the boo, and then you need to kind of wiggle around to the left of the boo in order to keep your P-speed and still jump on top of it. So a lot of people, when they're learning a small only category, they'll jump too early and they won't have P-speed. And then when you get to the top, you'll have to get P-speed in order to see where you are.
You also do need to jump off of the stairs in those two places to keep your P meter going up. So here I got a luck jump up to these clouds. Do you want to talk about speed oscillation?
So this level has a bunch of different strats you can do. You can do that luck jump up to the clouds, which I think is a 3/5 chance to get up there based on what your speed is oscillating at when you jump. It oscillates between 5 different values. If you don't take that jump, you can just do a different strat, which is also 100% guaranteed if you do it right. It just depends.
The other strat I feel like is a 2 or 3 frame window, so
yeah,
somewhat difficult. There's also a 2 or 3 frame window jump in this level that I'll be doing. I get really close to the TV to do it.
Yeah, so in this level there's also a bunch of different strats you can do to save just
that.
a little bit of time. So you see right here, he's trying to hit the Amazing Flying Hammer Bro with that yellow shell. So sort of the older strat that a lot of people would do is keep this yellow shell until later in the level and use it to kill the third Amazing Flying Hammer Bro. But if you run into that first one, and then there's a 2-frame window, 2 or 3 depending on just different factors, you can just jump directly from underneath this bro, and I'd say it's a lot harder, but once you've practiced it a lot, it's not that bad. The other strat requires that you throw the shell holding only right, and for some reason at that point it is impossible to hold only right, and you end up accidentally holding up and die.
I do that all the time. I concentrate so hard on holding right to throw that shell at him, and it just doesn't happen, so I just go with the harder strat. At least I can blame myself and not my controller / myself.
The very beginning of Morton right there, in room 1 he had to do a very slight left-right in the air in order to dodge one of the thwimps. You can't even see it on stream.
Yeah, it's such a weird left-right, like, you can't even tell it's there.
You need like 2 frames of going left in order to barely make it under the thwimp.
Probably around there. Here we really want to make sure we don't get a firstie, which is jumping on the first frame you land, because then this dry bones won't be in a place where he's useful, and then that causes problems. Here we can get as many firsties as we want. Go fast.
If you get a firstie in the vertical room, it won't scroll in a place.
Nice wall jump.
Just get a wall jump?
Yeah. So I clipped into the moving platform right in the middle of it and just wall jumped off of it. Ooh, that was a super spooky Morton right there. So that wasn't the Morton wall jump I attempted at the beginning of room 3, but we got one. Anyways. There's a wall jump at the beginning of that last room that's, quote, easy, unquote, to get.
It can save a cycle if you're a TAS, otherwise it's just swag.
You can swag save a cycle that isn't actually saving a cycle, because then you just need to wait an extra cycle, but it looks cool.
It's the fake swag wall jump half cycle thing.
That's what it's called
now,
the fake swag. I don't even remember what you said.
So in VD1, this is actually a lot more friendly in this category than it is in the shortest small only category, because you don't need to climb up the vine. If you climb up the vine, you have to keep this first Buzzy for a lot longer and do some sketchy,
Well,
random
I still
jumps.
keep
Oh,
them here because I go through there.
Yeah.
That lets you get P speed and you save like 2 in-game seconds here. But because I bonked and lost speed, I did not get it. But it's still a really
But
cool
it's
strat.
not as crucial in this category because you just
Whoa,
are
okay.
moving on to the pipe anyway. Well, you get another attempt at it.
Hell yeah. So that sandbar, I have so many troubles with that sandbar for some reason. The ceiling is just so low, and sometimes I forget the spacing of the buzzies if there's 2 or 3, and I just kind of go the wrong way. And there you go, that's what was supposed to happen there. Getting
Yeah,
that
we just wanted
jump
to show
out of
that
those
off.
yellow blocks is pretty crazy. That's probably like a 1 pixel jump to not just hit the yellow block. So that's fun to get as well. Alright, there we go, we're good.
The spacing of these Buzzies is awkward because usually you have like the inclination to jump on every single one, but they're
Yeah.
spaced perfectly that you'd want to jump between them instead.
You can grab that block there. Oh, whoops. You grab
If you
that
grab
block
a block on the
super
first frame,
fast.
you don't lose speed, but if you do grab it not on the first frame, you do lose speed.
What in the world? I'm like throwing hazards at myself right now.
And then the next level is just a really nice and clean level. Just get to swim through it with keeping the shell the whole time, pretty much.
Yeah, I really like
It's a lot better when you're small rather than having cape in this level.
For sure. I really like a strat at the end of this level where you just jump into a wall that has a P-switch under it and you fall onto the switch perfectly. And you can keep P-speed through the rest. It just looks neat. Lost
There's also
P-speed there.
that first Buzzy right there, grabbing that is easier when you're small because it's just a 1 block gap above it.
You can actually jump out up to there because you're small, because Mario's feet are higher up in the water. So you can actually jump higher. Ah, I grabbed it. Whoops. I try to like let go of run for so little there that it makes me let go of it for not long enough and just do that.
And right at the end, you can just run underneath that platform instead of having to jump over and dodge the spiny and the chuck.
Yeah, those swoopers, which is what the bats are called, the one off that orange pipe can be super sketchy, so that's why I did that wiggle just instinctively. So boo rings are always the same the first time you see them, and when they go off screen, they'll pick up that same position that you left them off on the next boo ring. So they'll be in like that position over here. Holy moly, that was amazing.
On your first time through this level, you can know where the boo rings are going to be and have a strat to get through them, but if you died or had to slow down for any reason, then they would be in a spot that you're not familiar with.
The hitbox on these snot bubbles is like non-existent. It's very awkward. So yeah, the next boo ring we see is in Sunken Ghost Ship, which is near the end of the run. Since I didn't die, I should technically know exactly where that boo ring's gonna be, and I could do a strat where I swim through it. But that's ultra sketchy. And loses like a minute. Speaking of losing a minute, this level can be very dangerous.
And the donation whenever you are ready, but
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah, you're
for
good.
now.
okay, cool. I just wanted to mention that Chiron HR donated $250,
Yo, nice.
which is a ton of money. Thank you so much, Chiron. They
Oh,
say
whoops, I didn't
much
go.
love for trans kids and random rodents. And they put that towards the Link to the Past 1 player 2 seeds.
That's awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. So that death there was just, I got confused what blarg I was on. These guys are called blargs. I gotta start going once this platform lines up with his face, like that. You just barely
So
make that jump
You need
there.
to keep this shell and then get P-speed in order to do this shell jump right here, which saves about 4 hours in the run.
Yep.
Lets you get up to the bonus pipe instead of having to go on the bottom raft.
Yeah, that was one of those shell jump I was talking about where you could just throw it at the wall, but I can't be bothered.
then you have to wait on this longest raft ever.
And yeah, shoutouts to 2K guys. Nice work. Thank you all for the donations. Thank you,
Yeah, we're
Allie, for this
sitting at-
marathon and other staff members.
Yeah. We're sitting at $2,000.
Whoa.
Or, sorry, $2,009.
You don't get P-Speed at that pipe section there. It's basically not worth trying again. So many weird 3-block wide platforms with buzzies at the end that are all in the way. So yeah, super fun level here. What is that like? What do you get with Cape in this level?
You can get like a 330 with Cape, I think. Oh, 333 or
So yeah, it's
something
like
that.
50 in-game seconds, and every in-game second is like 2/3 of a second. So that's some time lost. Here, these bullet bills spawn based on the global timer. So when you turn on the game, the global timer starts, and these shoot at whatever intervals. So I go to the left there at the beginning to get P-Speed and also make sure that first guy is just always out of the way. So he's not an issue.
Yeah, also every time you jump on these green spring platforms, it'll take away your P-Speed. If you land on the ground fairly quickly after that, then you can regain your P-Speed faster than normal. But if you don't land on the ground quickly, then it's just gone.
Indeed.
And then in the next level, which is our third castle, there's also a little bit of randomness at the beginning based on where
Actually,
Magic Koopa...
I am doing a down input on a very certain tile right there. Wow. So I didn't get P-Speed. And then when trying to hold jump midair, I just jumped into the thing. But if you hit down, what Magic Koopa does is pretty much based on your inputs on the controller here. So you can always get him to hit that one. I'm having so much issues with the jump button here. Doesn't matter. We got the manip, I guess, both times. So it lets you just get through that as fast as you can. You don't have to mess with where he's gonna shoot, what he's gonna shoot. He should always shoot a Koopa and in that one spot. Yeah, as C said, normally you just deal with Magic Koopa's randomness because normally it's not just one input that you can do to get what you want.
Yeah, we're gonna see another example of Magic Koopa later, where you just hope he gives you the Koopa shell again.
I've never really tried to like set up manip, I guess you could call it there. I feel like it's so far into the room that, and there's so many places you could jump, that it's probably not a thing. But I don't know.
Right there, you saw him regain P-Speed on some fairly short platforms, which was good for saving a whole cycle and jumping over the lava. Because you can't quite make the jump without P-Speed. You can make it if you have Cape, so you don't need P-Speed if you have Cape. And then here, Lemmy spawns randomly in the pipes. You can see his feet where he's going to spawn if he's in any of the 3 short pipes, but if he's not, then you just have to react to where he does spawn.
What did we learn about Magic Koopa and Kamek? Is it called Kamek in the Japanese version, or is that in SMA 2?
It's called Kamek in the Japanese version, I think, but I think that's also just the generic name for
Yeah, Magic Koopas
that's
are
the
called
Japanese-
all Kameks in Japan, but in the United States or elsewhere, it's called Kamek specifically, that one in Yoshi's Island. We will bring out the lore, Koba. Don't fight me. So here we've got an extremely fun level. Have you ever played a kazoo hack? Kaizo. This is pretty much the speedrun strat in this level here. Go for it once.
It doesn't save much time.
Oh my goodness.
to bounce
Okay, I'll
on
go
these-
for it again, because I wasn't holding jump.
It doesn't save much time to bounce on these saws a lot, because you're just keeping P-Speed for the very next jump. Like right when you get to the platform, you'll have P-Speed, where otherwise you'd have to wait on the brown platforms, but it's actually a lot harder to bounce on these than it looks like, because every time they go on one of these bumps or one of these diagonals, their horizontal speed is going to change, and it's hard to adapt to that. And then this is one of those levels where you'd really like to have the midway, but you can't have it in small only. Because you also have to bounce on these saws here at the end.
Nice. That's like the most stressful level in this run, honestly. Intentional game over strats. We've got 2 lives, and coming up here in 3 levels we can get a bunch of lives. Hopefully it's not a problem with these levels. These are not usually problem areas. Here's
So
another
Cookie
one of those
Mountain
shell jumps.
Here, he's gonna do another shell
Oh.
jump that saves a small amount of time.
Missed.
Uh,
So now I gotta go this way, which is gross and bad. Gotta scroll so these idiots are out of the way. And now these idiots are in the way. Unscroll, jump out of that way. It's awful. Moles are dumb.
yeah, moles are moles.
So when moles are in submaps, like the ones in Yoshi's Island 2, the Yoshi's Island is a submap because you like go through the transition to the main world. They take forever to pop out, but in the main overworld, they come out like instantly and destroy you if you try to walk into them. You'll just die. So you have to like jump over them, jump on them. It's a pain. Here I'm gonna do a left scroll to slow this. What's he called? Bony beetle. So I can just jump over him. It's a pretty awesome strat. This doesn't save that much time when you do the left scroll. You can do it without the scroll, but it's like impossible.
If you execute it perfectly, you can save a few frames.
Right,
It's way harder.
right before that first fireball, I only did a double tap on the jump, which I've actually done throughout this run. I just never brought it up. I did it at the... Oh my goodness. I did it at the end of Donut Plains 4 to get under the final Hammer Brother, so I wouldn't bonk into him and die. It essentially allows you to get the same distance without as much height.
That's one of the mechanics that's used a lot in no-cape speedruns and small-only speedruns, is that whenever you're holding the jump button, even if you don't have cape, you'll still descend a little bit slower when you're falling. So if you're trying to get more horizontal distance, but you don't want to do a full high jump, then you can just hold the button. It'll get you maybe 1 or 2 tiles further depending on where you're jumping.
Yep. So if you have
So-
anything to say about the marathon here, now would be a good time. And if not, what were you about to say?
Also, in Ludwig, right there, he only hit Ludwig twice, because if you land on him while he's falling in the middle of the second cycle, then it'll skip his kind of... Or no, you hit him 3 times, but he didn't do his little shell animation where he runs
Yeah.
back and forth. By hitting him in midair, it skips that.
Yeah, there's not much going on in the next level, so if you do have any advertising you want to do.
I just want to remind people that we are nowhere near the Junior % Pugsy bonus run. So if you want to see that, get ready. But yeah, and there's still time for Sonic Forces make your own OC incentive. But
Now that's a good incentive.
that is such a good incentive.
Looks like Rezi has put us down to 1 life just for the fear factor.
Sir.
On purpose.
Definitely on purpose. I agree with this man. Wigglers give you 2 1-ups for some reason. They were feeling nice.
Unknown reason. Also, if you bounce on them, if you scroll the screen, then and they go off screen and respawn, they won't be angry anymore. So if you have a cape in here and you can just bounce back and forth, despawning and respawning them, and their 1-up counter goes a lot higher than other ones.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can just get... that's actually the strat in max score runs. You just bounce on Wigglers for a long time. This level is
shows
like the
what-
best water level ever made. This is so fun. Messing with these blocks is so fun. It's hard, but it's fun. So far it's going well. Well, it's going average. I actually wanted the
So-
other urchin to despawn there, but it saves like an in-game second or 2 to go above because he's a bit slow.
Typically in this level you'll see Yoshi clips in most other categories, and Yoshi clips save a lot of time in runs like 96 exit, but if you actually go through this level small only, you can travel through it a decent amount faster, and you'll end up only losing about 10 seconds compared to Yoshi clips.
Yeah.
If you do it well and minimize lag where you can, hold blocks where you can.
Yeah, this level is definitely extremely hard. The best I've gotten is a 230 on the timer there. Lambie, who is the lord and savior of small-only speedrunning. Well, at least the individual levels, yeah. He's gotten a 233, I think.
So right there, Rezi went for a wall jump. He actually got the wall clip pixel, but he didn't get the wall jump. That's just one of the most consistent wall jumps in the entire run. It's very similar to the wall jump in Super Mario Bros. 1, where you just can get the pixel very consistently.
Oh.
Right here, he needs to grab this Goomba and bring it into the pipe. The intentional method for this part of the level, getting the key, is to come into it with a power-up so that you can spin jump through these blocks. But if you clip into this wall with a wall clip, just like we saw at the beginning of the level, and throw the Goomba at a specific point, and the Goomba has a correct subpixel, then it will go all the way through the block, hit the other block, and then it'll open it for you. So that's why it takes a lot of attempts, is you're pretty much just grinding over and over for the correct pixel and the correct subpixel.
Yeah, that poor Goomba. Press F to pay respects to that Goomba and his medical bills. Hopefully Dinosaur Land has some good insurance.
So in Roy's Castle right here, if you're playing a no-cape category, you can bring in 1 or 2 extra power-ups, and you can damage boost through the Doritos section, and in some cases you can even damage boost through and pick up another power-up to have to kill Roy. But when you're small only, you can't damage boost, you just have to wait through this entire section.
It's really entertaining. You can, like, press the right button, you can, like, press the left button, press the up button, the down button, you can jump. It's pretty fun.
One interesting thing if you're playing this casually is if you scroll the screen right, then when you're far left on the screen, the Doritos will actually fall.
Yeah. Things that activate due to Mario's position can activate... Whoa, okay.
When he's all the way left on the screen.
Yeah. Mario pretty much screen wraps. So yeah, that was a super entertaining level.
Right there at the end, there are so many fireballs and statues and Potaboos and a P-switch and Mario all visible at once. So you can get some interesting despawns. And the fireballs from the statues, which we usually call never shoots, are also based on the global timer, so you're not sure how many fireballs there are going to be. So there are supposed to be 3 extending turn block platforms, but usually you only find 1 of them, sometimes 2.
Pretty much.
Just because the other ones despawn.
That middle one is pretty much there 99% of the time, but I have had it where the middle one is not there and the other 2 are, and I was just destroyed.
Yeah,
just
if you
jump
base
right
your
into the void.
If you base your strat on jumping on any specific platform, it can really screw you up. You kind of have like a couple milliseconds to decide whether you can continue with your normal strat or whether you need to suddenly just pull back and play it casually.
Yeah, Morton can be amazing.
Roy.
Ah, I was just talking about that earlier. God, someone I was watching called freaking Roy Wendy, and then I was like, hey, I always call him Morton. I've destroyed my own brain.
So CI1 right here is actually one of the levels that pretty much everybody agrees is better no cape or small only than it is with cape, just because it's a really clean level. It's so clean and good that we're gonna watch it twice.
So like,
just so you can see how good of a level.
Can we talk about how I didn't die on that Dino Rhino though? That was like the scariest jump I've ever done. I don't know how I didn't just clip into his face and die. So now we can just do the fast
This level is
strat.
just nicely spaced, especially this part with the P-switch and jumping off of that chuck. It looks like you're gonna die, but if you...
Oh my god, I did it
If
again!
you died again?
No, I did the same thing again. Okay, it's faster to bounce off that Koopa, because then you maintain 64 subpixels per frame speed all the way into the goal. But if you try to just jump all the way over to the side, then you have to go to at least 63. So you know, frames.
Loses a 64th of a frame or something.
It's very important.
Fake ton. So right here in Donut Ghost House, there are a bunch of platforms here that if you jump off of them, you'll keep your P-speed, whereas if you walk off of them, you'll have to regain your P-speed really quickly. And when you have Fireflower or your Big Mario, sometimes
Whoa,
depending on the pattern of Fish and Boo, you might have to not jump off the platforms. But when you're small, you can jump off them safely. Also right there, he did a left scroll in order to make that diagonal Boo line, or Boo laser, line up correctly so that he could just spin jump off of its head.
That first time I scrolled left a little too late, which is why I had to turn back.
The entire rest of its body will hurt you, but its head you can spin jump off of.
This level, we want the secret exit in, and to do that, you just want to beat it as fast as possible, not get any coins or whatever. The normal exit has a bunch of requirements to do the fastest, that is. Requires you waiting at that pipe for a certain time. Here you just go now. I hate that room with passion. Baseballs are awful. Chucks are awful. Sports.
To do that room the fastest way, you have to jump to make one of the chucks jump, and then you have to land underneath it and jump on like the last pixel or two of the platform. If you jump any earlier, you just run right into his underside.
Yeah, it's super sketch. Here I do a safe strat in here because otherwise the sports balls are gonna hit me, most likely.
Yeah, you can do a safe strat, which actually makes that room really easy, but the fastest strat is hard.
Fastest strat, you pretty much just jump through all the baseballs and hope you don't get destroyed by sports. Yeah, that emote that Umar posted. Very good. One of the best global emotes, if you ask me.
I've never seen that emote before.
It's fantastic. I don't know where it came from or why, but it's great.
I don't know what it's intentionally used for, but it's just a meme, I think.
Whoa!
Yeah, I'm good with it.
And then at the end of this room, there's one platform, the second to last yellow platform, which
You did it!
just eats your jump. As you can see right there, it actually took away his P-speed.
There's like
don't know
nothing you
why.
can do about it, so you just do a full jump so you have time to react to landing.
It just eats your jump or kills your P-speed, no reason. And it's only that one.
What football stuff, though? Oh yeah, Twitch has streams like their own football league, don't they? I think that's a thing now.
Hey, I have a quick donation if that's cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have $60 from DK Koba, who says, "Hi guys."
Hi.
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 Hey guys. Stephen Hi. Vohio.
In that room, you can jump off of one of those small floating cement tile blocks, and it's a 2-frame jump, and you sort of have to do a little bit of a left-right beforehand, but it can save about a second in Windy Room 1. This is one of those levels where there are a bunch of tiny fractional second time saves that can add up in a run that's extremely optimized.
If you've seen a run of Super Mario World, you might notice they skip through that first crusher in the level and just hang out on the other side of it instead of waiting at the front. If you try to do that in small only, you'll actually probably just get crushed all the time, because when people do crusher skip, they're not actually like going all the way through. The thing that makes them like cape cancel and not get hurt, because it's the cape cancel, is they're hitting the side of the crusher. They're not getting crushed. So because we're small, we're just going to get hit by the side of the crusher most of the time.
Also, you need to manipulate your speed just to get a few extra sub-pixels through that gap in order to make it. But in small only, the only way to do that would be to jump and let go of the right direction and get really lucky with your speed oscillation. So it would just not be smart at all to go for that.
So here's Sunken Ghost Ship that I was talking about earlier. we're going to be swimming through the second room in a way that makes the Boo Cloud stay on screen for just a little longer, which will despawn a Boo Ring, which makes it fast. Technically don't need to do that at all when you're small, and it'd be faster to just swim through both Boo Rings, but that's super sketchy, and So what I did was let go of the D-pad for a bit there.
Didn't look like you waited long enough to me, but...
You can, yeah, I just let go of it again there. You want those... Aw, dang. I didn't let go enough anyways. Soiled it. Nah, I'm gonna wait. I'm not going through this thing. I jinxed myself. Yeah. So if
it's a little bit easier to go through this when you're small than when you're big, but it's still hard.
It's way better to go through the top than the side.
Yeah. If you hold up while you're swimming, you can just go upwards extremely quickly, but nothing to do that horizontally.
So if you don't know the lore, this is a Super Mario Bros. 3 airship that crashed and is now in Dinosaur Land somehow. Even though, as far as I know, Mario 3 isn't anywhere near Dinosaur Land. It's in whatever kingdom.
It's in the Mushroom Kingdom.
Well, no, it's not in there either. It's in like other kingdoms. It's like 8 different kingdoms in that game.
Orb.
That.
My immersion is ruined.
Well, actually, the airships, I mean, that's their whole point. They can fly anywhere.
I mean,
so why wouldn't they fly over Dinosaur Kingdom?
I suppose.
I mean, the boos in there might just be, like...
So my theory is that because SMB3 was a play, they took all their stage props and they took them to this island and just dumped all their props here. And then some kind of dinosaur got mutated into Yoshis that can talk. And then Bowser found out about this because he's the one that dumped it, because he was the prop manager. And then he stole a bunch of baby Yoshis.
All of Super Mario World is a PSA against littering.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed a lore moment.
I learned a lot.
Whoa, Popular, let's not get so dark. Goodness.
So in this level right here, PUWP18, you need to wait a little bit at the beginning in order to make it up to that first sandbar. I think you can actually make it up there instantly with a luck jump, but...
I think so.
It's a lot more consistent to just wait.
You're gonna have to remind me to not do the secret exit.
And then here, in any category where you're big, you can do a sandbar clip. Here, you just have to go through the whole thing. You can actually take a shell from the previous room, and if you're a TAS, you can just dupe two keys from the P-balloon block in here. You have to double grab both keys, then bring them into the sandbar, and then you can do some precise clips through the sandbar using the 2 keys.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's such a weird trick. I don't know why Bruno found about that. Bruno's a tasser in our community.
Even just getting one of the keys duped in time to make it for that cycle is hard. And then getting 2 is even harder possible. And then getting 2 and double grabbing them in time is just really hard.
Normal exit, normal exit, normal exit. So any other category, you would just do Yoshi Wings from that Yoshi Wings block at the beginning of this room, or the last room.
If you wanted the normal exit.
Yeah, but here it's like, oof. And then the next level here is probably my favorite small strat. It's just so good. It's so satisfying. Not really much to say about it, but it'll happen, and it'll be cool.
In the last room?
Yeah.
In your PB, you missed it. So.
Wow.
This is one of those rooms where you're trying to get up there without being able to see anything that you're doing. Sort of like you can do in Donut Ghost House back in World 2.
Doing 6 bounces off that dude just perfectly lines you up to go into that one tile hole. It's fantastic.
And then in Larry, we have another waiting room, just like in Roy. Pretty much just need to wait here for this block snake. Once it gets to a certain point, you can ditch the rest of it, though, which is good. Unlike in Roy.
It's probably an optimal way to do this, so this thing's always in a good spot, but I just hadn't messed with it. Yeah, we got it anyways. Didn't have to wait there.
You jumped it about the right time. The optimal way is like jumping about, and the timer is 73 or so, which is pretty much what you did.
You can do a super ultra precise jump and whoa, what is this dude doing here? Wait, no, I think he's supposed to be there, but I was supposed to jump over him. Alright, disregard. You can get a super precise jump off of the ball and chain and get it into the door. Or you could get a wall jump, which is cool, to get into the door, but it's just whatever. Going down there is fine enough, but it's also the sketchiest area ever. It's like a 3-tile tall room with a mushroom and a midway in the way.
So right in that beginning section, Rezi got 2 yellow shells, but they walked off into the lava. It's fastest if you can keep any of those yellow shells, because then you can use them to open up the second pillar of yellow blocks and not have to wait for Magic Koopa to do it for you.
Yep.
And then usually in order to just survive, you need to kill Magic Koopa, but that's actually a lot slower because you have to wait for it to respawn before it can open the second section. It's better than dying, though.
There's a 2, I think, is it 2 and 256 for a Thwimp?
I don't know. I thought it was out of 100.
No, it's 256. There's some super small chance at a 256 that Magic Koopa will spawn a Thwimp. So you'll be going for the normal strat where you just jump right into the block and it turns into a Koopa. Sometimes you'll just do that and you'll just have a Thwimp spawn inside you and you'll explode. That's kind of unfortunate.
And then in Bowser's Castle, we have all of the standard strats for a small-only Bowser's Castle. In room 2, he's going to try to jump off of this cage, which he did. If you jump off as the cage is about halfway through spinning, it's a pretty precise timing for when to jump off of it.
I think someone said it's 5 frames, but I think that's fake news.
If you jump off of it, then you can just keep a lot of your speed and you won't have to wait for the cage to fully spin around. It's actually faster to do room 7 there instead of room 5, but again, room 7 has those never shoot statues, which have their global timer flames, which are just really annoying to dodge.
Now I got Bowser. You can mash and get it? What? I didn't know that.
I mean, timing is easier, in my opinion. Lambie also matches it, but...
So here, I just hang out in a couple spots, wait for him to throw stuff. Throw stuff in spots.
So here you want to pretty much hit him with that first Mecha Koopa, but the key thing is you don't want to hit him exactly instantly, you just want to wait for a tiny bit of time. If you hit him exactly instantly, he would have thrown that left Mecha Koopa straight off the screen, and you would not have been able to keep it for the ball skip in Phase 2. But since he does keep it, he can throw it as soon as Bowser is about to enter his animation for throwing the ball, and then it'll completely skip that animation, and he'll go right into his next, his next animation of throwing Mecha Koopas.
I think I was getting close there. It made me uncomfortable. It's kinda sketchy.
Yo, Rezi, Uko donated $25 to say, "Hi, Rezi, I love you."
Hi, Uko, I love you too. Bless Uko.
And if you did everything in Phase 2 correctly, got the ball skip, you will have another Mecha Koopa here, which you can throw right at the very beginning of Phase 3 to skip a bunch of his bounces. Normally he does 9 bounces, I think, but instead he's only going to do 4.
7 and 5.
Same thing. And we're about to have time right when Peach appears, or when he gets the last hit on Bowser. It doesn't really matter, because the initial timing is
as soon as you see Peach, just...
Yeah.
There you go. Time.
And... Nice job. He did a fast strat for that very final hit. You can see it doesn't even look like it hit Bowser because it went right through the side of the clown car. If you throw it up and to the left right there, you can hit him really quickly.
I believe it's faster to either... If you don't do that super instant hit where he's at the top of the screen, I'm pretty sure it's faster to wait for him to bounce and then go up again before you hit him, because otherwise he goes so slow to drop Peach. Yeah, that was a pretty good run. That's way better than some of the other marathon runs I've been doing in this category. That's really the nature of this category and small only in general. You know, you mess one thing up, you're dead. That's 25, 30 seconds. Or in my case, like 4 minutes because you do something dumb.
Yeah, there's no really backup strats in this. You can't grab a different power up and just do a backup strat.
That's like a bad thing, but I think also a good thing at the same time, because pretty much no matter what, you're gonna show like the fast strat that you want to show. It's pretty
Unless
awesome.
you lose P-speed, then it's just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Really enjoyed this run. I'm glad we got to 2,000 during this. Thanks for the GGs.
Heck yeah.
Thank you again, Ariel, Alley, and Fleck, and other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being on. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Is there any news about the Sonic Forces incentive?
Ooh, good question. I think that we are still at Pumpkin the Hedgehog with $20 and T the Hedgehog that is not a hedgehog, because instead it's a bunny, with $10. So it's looking like, unless somebody has a last-minute donation, which I'm totally suggest that somebody does. Looks like it's probably Pumpkin the Hedgehog. And I don't even know what Pumpkin's gonna look like, so I'm excited to see how that pans out. But yeah, thank you. It's always nice to watch SMW runs.
Oh yeah. And just a note, this is like pretty much a mini preview of my SGDQ run coming up in like 3 weeks. That's pretty crazy. 3 weeks.
The
I'll
SGDQ
be
category
Thursday
that's being
night.
run is all castles and forts, small only. So that one does a little bit of a different route than this, because you need to go through the long way in Chocolate Island, and you need to grab another fort in the forest.
Yeah.
And you need to take a different path in Vanilla Dome, but the main difference is Chocolate Island 3, which is a really hard stage.
Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun run. Tune in.
I definitely will. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, I have a $25 donation from Andrew Ferguson who says, Xandra co-op randomizer? Yes, please. But yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to seeing that at SGDQ, and hoping to learn some SMW myself while I'm there. So
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
see.
Bunch of us
yeah.
will be there. Yeah, good
Yeah.
luck with the rest of the marathon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. See you around.